Welcome to the CompTIA A+ Prepcast presented by baremetalcyber.com. Proper data disposal is an essential part of information security, and overlooking this process can result in severe data breaches, legal consequences, or loss of intellectual property. As devices reach the end of their life cycle, the data they contain does not automatically disappear. Workstations, servers, smartphones, and even removable storage devices retain recoverable data long after it has been deleted. For this reason, the A+ certification emphasizes secure data disposal methods as part of its operational procedures and security domain. These techniques protect personal, organizational, and customer information from being recovered and misused after a device is decommissioned or discarded. It is important to understand the difference between data deletion and data destruction. Deleting a file only marks its location on the storage medium as available for reuse, but the underlying data remains on the drive until it is overwritten. This means that deleted data can often be recovered using simple software tools, especially if the device has not been actively used since the deletion. Data destruction, on the other hand, ensures that the original data is permanently inaccessible by using methods that go beyond standard deletion. Destruction is the preferred method when disposing of storage media that contains confidential, proprietary, or regulated information. Formatting a drive may seem like a sufficient way to erase data, but it has critical limitations. A quick format operation merely deletes the file allocation table, which is the index of stored files, but does not erase the files themselves. A full format may attempt to overwrite the entire volume with zeros, but even this does not guarantee complete erasure. Remnants of data can still exist in slack space or hidden system areas. Therefore, formatting alone is not considered a secure data disposal technique, especially when the drive contains sensitive material. More advanced tools are necessary to ensure complete erasure. Drive wiping tools offer a more thorough and secure method of data removal by overwriting the contents of a disk with random data patterns. These utilities perform multiple overwrite passes, making it increasingly difficult, if not impossible, for recovery software to retrieve the original content. Well-known tools such as DBAN, DiskPart, or manufacturer-specific software can securely wipe hard drives to meet recognized standards, such as those set by the Department of Defense. Proper configuration of these tools is critical, and administrators must verify that the wiping process completes successfully before releasing or repurposing the hardware. Solid-state drives require a different approach, as traditional overwriting methods are not always effective due to the way data is stored and managed in flash memory. For SSDs, the secure erase function uses a built-in firmware command to instruct the drive to erase all stored data at the hardware level. This method is both faster and more reliable than overwriting because it communicates directly with the drive's controller. Many SSD manufacturers provide their own utilities for triggering secure erase operations. Unlike older spinning disk drives, SSDs benefit from this specialized process to ensure complete data removal without damaging the hardware unnecessarily. Degaussing is another method used primarily with magnetic storage media, such as traditional hard drives and magnetic tapes. This process involves exposing the device to a strong magnetic field, which disrupts the magnetic patterns used to store data and renders the device unreadable. While effective for magnetic media, degaussing does not work on SSDs, optical disks, or flash-based storage. Additionally, degaussing physically damages the device, making it unusable afterward. Organizations must weigh the cost of destruction against the importance of data confidentiality when selecting this method for secure disposal. Physical destruction is considered one of the most definitive forms of data disposal, particularly for high-security environments. This includes techniques such as shredding, drilling through the drive platters, crushing the casing, or even incinerating the device in controlled conditions. Once the storage components have been physically altered, the data they held becomes unrecoverable. Physical destruction is especially appropriate when handling expired drives from classified systems or those that have held regulated personal data. It is common to combine physical destruction with a prior wiping process for maximum assurance of data inaccessibility. To illustrate a practical application, Consider the process of retiring old server drives in a corporate environment. Before these drives are discarded, they are first wiped using certified data erasure software to overwrite any recoverable data. Following this, the drives are physically destroyed using a crushing or shredding mechanism. Each drive's serial number and destruction date are logged, and a responsible individual signs off on the process. This practice satisfies legal and industry-specific data disposal requirements and provides documented proof that sensitive information was handled securely throughout the disposal process. Optical media such as CDs and DVDs require a different set of techniques. Because these discs store data on a reflective layer that is read by a laser, simply scratching the surface may not be enough. Proper disposal includes using specialized optical shredders that cut the disc into fine pieces or manually breaking the disc into multiple segments using physical tools. Cutting the disc across the data tracks makes recovery extremely difficult. Discs should never be discarded intact if they contain sensitive information, as forensic recovery tools can reconstruct readable data from even partially damaged sectors. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. When disposing of printers and copiers, it's important to remember that these devices often contain internal storage that caches recent print jobs, scans, or faxes. If left unchecked, this data can be recovered by anyone with access to the hardware. Before decommissioning such devices, administrators should perform a full reset or wipe of the internal memory. In some cases, this may require replacing the built-in hard drive entirely, especially in enterprise multifunction printers. Even small office devices can store sensitive documents, so treating them with the same data disposal care as traditional computers is a smart and secure practice. Mobile devices also need specific disposal procedures to prevent residual data from being recovered. Before discarding or repurposing a smartphone or tablet, users should perform a factory reset which deletes all apps, accounts, and personal data. Additionally, the SIM card and any removable memory cards should be removed and destroyed or securely wiped. If the device is owned by a business, an MDM solution can issue a remote wipe and ensure the device is deregistered from the company's management system. These steps reduce the chance of a lost or retired mobile device exposing sensitive organizational or personal information. In situations involving high-risk or regulated data, a formal chain of custody must be followed during the disposal process. This means that the movement and handling of each device are carefully documented from the moment it is removed from service until it is destroyed or wiped. Each person who handles the device must sign off, indicating when and why they accessed it. This helps prevent tampering, accidental reuse, or unauthorized recovery. Chain of custody documentation is often required in legal, forensic, and compliance scenarios, where accountability must be proven after the fact. Asset disposal policies outline the steps that must be taken when retiring technology. These policies define which devices require secure disposal, who is authorized to carry it out, and what documentation must be collected. In many organizations, disposal actions must be logged and approved by a supervisor or IT manager. These policies ensure consistency across departments and device types, reducing the likelihood of a security lapse due to improper handling. Standardizing disposal procedures also supports training efforts and regulatory compliance by clearly stating expectations and responsibilities. Printed documents, reports, and receipts that contain confidential information must be shredded before disposal. Cross-cut shredders, which slice paper both horizontally and vertically, are preferred because they reduce the documents to very small, unreadable strips. Strip-cut shredders are less secure and may leave long lines of text visible. Paper shredding is necessary for compliance with data privacy regulations such as the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, known as HIPAA, and the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR. These regulations apply to both electronic and printed data and require that organizations protect all forms of personally identifiable information. When organizations outsource their data destruction process to a third party, they often receive a certificate of destruction. This document verifies that the service provider performed the agreed-upon destruction methods, such as shredding, degaussing, or incineration. The certificate typically includes details such as serial numbers, destruction dates, and the method used. It serves as proof that the organization fulfilled its legal and contractual obligations regarding data protection. Certificates of destruction should be retained as part of the audit trail and may be requested during regulatory reviews or legal discovery. A cautionary scenario involves a user discarding a laptop in a dumpster without removing the hard drive or performing any data wiping. Later, the device is found and analyzed, and large amounts of sensitive company data are recovered. This incident leads to a review of the organization's disposal policies, new employee training requirements, and, in some cases, disciplinary action. The event emphasizes the importance of not just having policies, but ensuring that users understand and follow them. Secure data disposal is not just a technical issue, it requires procedural enforcement and user participation. There is often a trade-off between environmental responsibility and secure data destruction. Recycling is important for recovering materials and reducing waste, but it does not always guarantee the destruction of data stored on the devices being recycled. To balance these priorities, organizations should work with certified e-waste recyclers who specialize in secure handling and disposal. These vendors often combine secure data wiping and physical destruction with responsible recycling practices. Before sending equipment for recycling, internal IT teams should sanitize or destroy all storage media to ensure data cannot be retrieved after disposal. To conclude, secure data destruction is not a one-size-fits-all process. The right technique depends on the type of media, the sensitivity of the data, and the regulatory or business environment. Hard drives may be wiped or crushed, mobile devices reset and deregistered, and optical media physically destroyed. Every disposal should be documented, and staff should be trained to follow defined policies. These practices reduce the risk of data leakage and ensure compliance with legal and organizational standards. Data destruction is a frequent topic on the A+ certification exam, especially under operational procedures and security responsibilities. Thank you for listening. Please visit baremetalcyber.com for more cybersecurity information, podcasts, books, and more.